to be invited, but I don't understand why they asked me to stand up here and do this. There's all kinds of people here in the group that could do this way better than me. Tim back there is obviously a better candidate to do this, but anyway, I really appreciate. Yeah, how about a woman? Come on up. Yeah. So you know what? My job tonight is to introduce our comedians, and so away we go. I want to start off by introducing Michael Coss. Michael is the father of beautiful twins Danielle and Nathan, the son of awesome parents Bob and Susie Coss, a devoted brother and uncle, and a sit-down comic, soon to be a stand-up comic. Michael has suffered a traumatic brain injury in May of 2006, which resulted from a motor vehicle accident. Michael has speed, and that is go. He has speed, and that is go. He is a man with incredible courage, determination, and compassion. He lives his life challenging himself and others to do their best and reminds people to give back. Michael has had many accomplishments on his journey to independence. He is an author of a book called The Courage to Come Back, the founder of the Michael Coss Foundation that raises money to help others achieve their goals. And this is only part of what makes Michael so amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you to welcome Michael Coss with me, our sit-down comic. Go, buddy, go! A spotlight. That's a spotlight.
Yeah, there's a spotlight.
Thank you very much, Paul. I now would like to thank Paul, Sylvia, and her team for having me perform this evening for all of you. WorkSafe BC enrolled me in the David Grenier Stand-Up for Mental Health program over 3 years ago, where I learned to do stand-up comedy, but in my case, it was sit-down comedy.
Okay.
I was in a coma for over 7 months, but at least I don't snore.
How do you know?
How do you know, Mike?
How do you know, Mike?
I've been told anyway. WorkSafe BC enrolled me in a program called Stand Up for Mental Health, which was taught by David Grenier. I went to that class once a week where I learned how to do sit-down comedy. But that course gave me the confidence to once again be outspoken as I was prior to my injury. As Paul mentioned before, I am the very proud father of twin children, a son and a daughter as well. They are my pride and joy, and the reason why I work so hard at my rehab each and every day. They put the spot on my face, and they allow me to wake up each day and with face the challenges. So now, here goes my comedy act. The most affected by brain injuries are young males between 18 and 35 years old. Interestingly enough, that's the same demographic that the U.S. Army tries from. No wonder why they're pulling out of Iraq. It is estimated that winter sports such as skiing and skating account for about 20,000 brain injuries every year. But I don't fit that profile, because in my case it was from figure skating, and that's not a real sport.
Yeah, it says who.
Before my injury, I was a goalie in the ice hockey. And you need a major interruption of brain functioning to want to do that. I guess I took too many pucks to the head, and that was just in the dressing room. Yeah, those Pee-wee kids were mean. And the acquired brain injury is defined as a major interruption of brain functioning kind of like what happens when guys go through puberty. And unfortunately, there's no treatment for that. I used to weigh 220 pounds. Now I only weigh 160. You lose weight too if you have to eat my cooking. I was in a coma for almost 7 months. And when I came out of it, one of my first words that I spoke was the word steak. It was such a letdown to the people around me. Here I was coming out of a coma. They're expecting something really profound and deep, and all they get is steak. My wife is like, medium well or rare. So they took me off life support and they brought me down to the cake restaurant.
The cake restaurant.
The cake.
Yeah.
When they're assessing a TBI, they ask questions like, do you have difficulty coming up with the right word? I'm like, yarn, yeah, yellow, yes. Do family members and friends say that you have asked the same question over and over? Yeah, they kind of get me tired hitting them up for spare change. Then again, I did that before my injury too. People sometimes question my slurred speech or look at me funny. Little do they know that I've been at the local tavern for the last 24 hours. I consider this to be my most productive time in my rehab. No wonder I have difficulty with my balance. They're planning on retraining me for another career, so they asked me what I wanted to be. They weren't too thrilled when I chose firefighter. Apparently I don't meet the height requirement. But I'm getting a new job with the BC Lottery Corporation. I start next week as one-armed bandit. When I tell people that I work for Revenue Canada, when I tell people that I'm a bandit, they think that I work for Revenue Canada. Before my injury, I used to weigh 220 pounds. Now I only weigh 160. Best diet that I've ever been on. And the great thing about the brain injury diet is that the weight stays off. Thank you very much, Michael Coss.
Thank you, Michael. That was wonderful.
Hey, encore.
Can't wait to come back for the stand-up part. Next time.
This guy's going to go encore.
Yeah, I know.